What is going on, guys? The Brothers All Gaming with my review of Tokyo Ghoul episode 12, and holy crap, this episode right here, it was definitely the best one in the series. This finale, it was just so impactful, so emotional that I just loved all of it from start to end. I was just so wrapped up. Honestly, didn't want this series to end, especially this episode, because to me it was just so freaking good. And so the episode itself, it starts off from last week, of course, where we have Kaneki. He is still being tortured by Jason, and we see the guy doing so much to him. And we actually learn now, from all this torturing that Jason is doing, Kaneki's regenerative abilities, they are actually, a lot better than I'm guessing, an average ghoul. Because we have Jason constantly tearing off his fingers and toes, and that right there is just so messed up. But they were going back pretty quickly, and Jason was just tormenting him. And we even see now that he put, I believe it was a red Japanese centipede. He put that in Kaneki's ear. But through all this torture he was going through, we have Rize, that's right, the female that triggered this all. She is now back, and we see that her and Kaneki, they finally got this real one-on-one that they should have a long time ago. Because obviously Rize, she was around, because even though she died physically, she was still alive inside Kaneki. So these two should have been connecting and talking like this. And we see Rize, she actually did not hold back at all. She letting it all hang, she letting it all come out. And even though she came out as a bit of a bitch, because let's be honest here, the way she was acting, she was also getting to Kaneki as well. And so we see thanks to her, she was taking Kaneki through his mind, and we got this pretty good flashback about his mother. And so we learn now that his mother, she was definitely, a very nice and caring woman, and she definitely looked out for Kaneki. But what the thing is though, she had overexerted herself, because we saw that she had worked this day job and a night job, and not only that, she also took care of her sister as well, because Kaneki said that her sister, his aunt, she had some money problems. So she would always go to his mother for money, and that right there, also, made her work more as well. And so pretty much Kaneki, he was alone because his father had died when he was very young, so he hardly remembered him. But the thing is though, even though his father was gone, he still had this stuff, like these books, to help him, remind him of his father. But we see now that even though we learn more about Kaneki's past, he was always kind of brought out of it because Jason was always torturing him. And we see now that it got to the point where Kaneki actually wanted to die, but Jason here wanted to torture him some more. And we see that he I forgot that guy's name, but it's pretty much those two underlings that worked with this guy, that Rize in the last episode. So pretty much these two, they were now tied up by Jason, and Jason had wanted Kaneki to pick one of them, and that right there was just so messed up. And of course Kaneki couldn't do that, so what Jason did, he actually started to strangle the woman. And we see that the guy, he was telling Kaneki to pick him, and sadly Kaneki could not make that choice, and that woman was killed. But then you see the guy kind of snap as well. He was biting on that rag that's wrapped around his mouth. But then we have Jason impaling him with his kaguni, and that right there, kind of cut off his lower half. So that right there was also messed up. And so now because of that, now that those two died, their deaths were on Kaneki's hands pretty much, because he could not make a choice. And it's like Rize said, he was not strong enough, because if he picked one, if he picked that guy that was willing, to die for the woman because they were in love, then that right there, could allow her to live on. But because Kaneki was weak in that moment, they both died because of that. But then we go back to the flashback here, and we learn that Kaneki's mother did die because she overworked herself, and we learned that Kaneki was alone, and he hated that. And so pretty much Kaneki was in his darkness for a little bit, but he did have a healing in his life. But then we see now if Kaneki continues on his path, because his mother always told him that it was better to be hurt than to hurt others, and that right there was like definitely hurting him. That right there was like handicapping Kaneki so freaking much. But we see now that like when he finally broke and he finally said, you know, what he really felt, he actually did not care, you know, about his aunt. Like he would even be fine if, you know, if she died. Like all he wanted was his mother, because he wanted his mother to be alive, you know, and to live for him, because obviously because she died for what she did, that right there definitely, you know, devastated him. But now we have Kaneki, you know, like finally going down the right path, and he finally like grew up here, because let's be honest, he was being like a little punk here, you know, like never really fighting, and that right there was like definitely, you know, a major handicap. And we saw now that like if he never changed like this, the people like Hinami, Hide, Toka, they will all die right now, because Aragori Tree, they will definitely, you know, kill them all if Kaneki did not do anything. But we see now that when like Rize is asking him these questions, and then there was like one question about, you know, finally accepting her, Kaneki, you know, he breaks free in his mind, and we see now that like he tackles Rize, and what he plans on doing is actually surpassing her, and that right there would be epic, because we all know Rize was a very powerful ghoul. I believe that she was like definitely S-rank. She should have been. But now we see that like Kaneki actually took a bite of her in his head, and that right there will finally change him and gave him the white hair, and he now accepts that like he is a ghoul. And like one thing that I definitely like about the episode, it was where we had like these white flowers, and how they were changed to like red ones. I don't know why, but that right there, you know, that right there was like a really beautiful scene whenever it happened. But now we have Jason coming back in the room, and we see that like he was getting ready to eat Kaneki. Oh, and one thing I was wondering, how in the world did like Jason know that like Kaneki, you know, was like working by this doctor? Like to me, that right there was surprising. I do wish that they would explain a little bit about the relationship that Jason had with the doctor, because obviously, you know, Jason does know Rize sense, so that right there would give it away. But I just want to know, how in the world did he know who that doctor was? But we see now that when he come back in there, and Kaneki's hair is white, I'm surprised that like Jason did not react to it. But we see now that like he was done torturing him, because right now he had a job to do, because we all know that the CCG and of course Kaneki, you know, group of friends, you know, people at the cafe, they are coming in there, you know, to save him. And so right now Jason does go out there, you know, and stop them, and of course kill, you know, the people from the cafe as well. But of course, Kaneki was not going to have that, and we see that when Jason, you know, has summoned his Kagami once again and was actually going to attack Kaneki, he broke free. And not only did he break free, but he also started choking Jason with those handcuffs as well, and he even took a bite out of him. Now that right there was just like so freaking epic. But we see now that like Jason here, he stops playing around, and when he does fully summon his Kagami, it like wraps around his face, and we also see like it engulfs his arm. So I'm not sure what type he has, because we did learn that there are, you know, different types of Kagami. But here's like seems to make him more beast-like. I'm not really sure if that right there, you know, is how you would describe it. But he did seem, you know, like a bit beastly to me anyway. And so now we get this fight, and Kaneki was going in like holy crap. We saw at one point where like Kaneki had wanted to kick him, and Jason had like caught his leg. We see that like Kaneki had no problem at all when it came to like breaking his own leg, as we saw he like twisted it just to attack Jason, and that right there was just so freaking brutal. I love that. Kaneki right now is in his beast mode, and this right here is what I've been waiting for, you know, this entire time. Even though it happened at the end, I'm just glad it happened, period, because right now that was just so freaking epic. And so pretty much Jason here, he cannot hurt Kaneki at all. And eventually, you know, Kaneki, he got tired of playing around, and we see now like he summoned his own Kagami, and that right there was like pretty much a wrap for Jason, because he can do anything at all. You know, Kaneki right now, which is on that beast mode status, and he pretty much, you know, had pwned him. And so we see that, you know, through all this torture, Kaneki did pick up one of Jason's habits, and that right there was like cracking his fingers. And so pretty much now Kaneki here, he was like torturing Jason, and he also made him count back from 1,000 like by 7. And so that right there was hilarious and very ironic, of course. But I was just like laughing my ass off when I saw that, because now like the tables have really turned here, and so we see that eventually, Kaneki, he does get on Jason, and so now Kaneki's actually eating Jason. Now I'm not sure if that right there will make a stronger or what, but that right there would be awesome. Now of course we all know that right there is where the episode ends, but for some reason now, because we missed out, on so much, especially from like all that they showed off last week. I'm pretty sure some people might not like that, but to me, I had no problem with that. I am glad that like that at the end of the series, it focused a lot on Kaneki, and we should have got so much character development for him. But I do wonder if there will be a season 2, because obviously there should be, or at least possibly some OVAs. But the episode itself, I'm actually going to give it a 10 out of 10, because to me this episode, it was just so freaking beautiful. But for a series overall, despite all the flaws, and of course the censorship, like to me it was a very good anime. So I'm actually going to give it an 8 out of 10. But of course I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode, and of course the series as well. But as always, please don't forget to subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.